And all the animals are definitely ones that are native to Africa. Definitely. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Soul Studios. I'm your host Soul, and today the lions get even more angsty. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is the second video of a series. The link to the first video will be down in the description, or you can just watch this and not watch the other one. Context is for losers anyway. So we're back with my Lion King fanfic. A quick summary, this is the second book in a trilogy. In the last one, we were introduced to Sheeta and her friends, and in the end, they got their asses handed to them by hyenas. With that said, and surely no other context needed, let's get into it. This book is called Outlanders Above All, which is an odd title for the second book in the series. I choose not to look into it. Our prologue starts with Imani, Sheeta's father, grieving the loss of his daughter. Sheeta's not around. He's just a bit mopey. His wife, Nima, comes and demands he gets out of the den because there's leadering to be done. "Tell him what you told me, Cubway," she said. Cubway stepped forward. "Sir, we were out patrolling and we came across a large group of animals," he said. Imani rolled his eyes. "So, have you never seen a herd of animals before?" he asked. Cubway shook his head. "You don't understand. All of the animals were predators. Jackals, jaguars, cheetahs, hyenas, even a lion. We tried to talk to them, but they only said they were interested in ruling the Outlands, not making peace." Cubway spoke quickly. And that's basically all of that. Imani is like, okay, we'll take care of it, and that's it. Just so you guys know, this thing has 15 chapters, and it's almost as poorly written as the last one. So first chapter, we're reintroduced to Sheeta and her new place as leader of the hyenas, living in the elephant graveyard. Some hyenas are introduced, the only one of any consequence being Bora, Sheeta's second in command. They tell Sheeta she needs to get to the border. There's that group of predators again. Sheeta goes, she tells them to shove it, she leaves. This chapter is so short, it hurts my brain. At the very end, we find Sheeta reminiscing about how she killed the Pridelander, Luca, who was her love interest in the previous book. Apparently, she had also been in love with him, which, if you look at the previous book, is simply not true. End chapter, moving on. Sheeta is woken up by Wajanja. If you were here for the last video, he was mentioned somewhere in there, but unimportant. He's another hyena, who tells her that 2 Pridelanders tried to sneak into the graveyard. Sheeta tells him to get Bora and another hyena so that she may visit Walfalme, the leader of the Pridelands and Luca's father, to talk to him about this trespassing. When Bora and the other hyena arrive, Sheeta sets off, making her way through the graveyard and having a small interaction with 2 hyena pups. "Who are you?" one of them asked. "I am Sheeta, leader of the hyenas of the boneyards," she said calmly, looking down at the 2. "Weiwei, Mimi, come back here!" A female hyena rushed out of hiding, guiding the 2 pups away. Sheeta watched them with interest. "But Mom, we want to get a closer look," Weiwei said, looking back at the lioness. "Leave Sheeta alone, she is busy," the mother said, leading her pups away. Sheeta stared after them for a moment before walking forward again. She sometimes wished that she had children of her own, to at least have an heir of some sort to take over the hyenas when she grew old. She knew that Bora was older than her, so unless she died early, Bora wouldn't be leader anytime soon. But Bora had very good leadership skills and would be a perfect leader for the hyenas, which always brought up a question in Sheeta's mind: why did Bora make her leader? Sheeta dismissed the thought, since they were getting close to the border. So there's that. I don't think this thought process is brought up again, ever. Sheeta and the hyenas make their way into the Pridelands and to Pride Rock, where she recognizes 3 lions, Kiburi, Rahisi, and Sukari. These 3 were in the previous book and were friends of dead boy Luca. Kiburi and Rahisi don't really matter, and Sukari is the only person who has any sense ever. Continuing, she asks where Walfalme is, and they're like dead, super dead. And when she asks who the leader is now, Sukari jumps up ready to kill as she knows that Sheeta has arrived. Because, you know, this is the lion that killed their friend. Sheeta is super chill and again asks who the leader is. A voice comes out and Sheeta looks up and gasp! Could it be? It's Luca. Next chapter. I'm gonna be so honest, this whole 4 paragraphs of chapter is just, "Luca, you're alive!" Romantic tension. "Luca, I wish you'd stay dead." Not so romantic tension. "I'm gonna kill your friend, Luca." Really not so romantic tension. "I'm saving my friend, Sheeta." Just not good tension. "Well then I'll kill you, Luca." Murderous tension. Sheeta is interrupted amidst her plans for murder by more hyenas showing up, telling her that the graveyard is under attack. Sheeta quickly leaves and is followed by Luca, because we demand a romantic plotline. Next chapter. We take a break from Sheeta and we're back to Imani and the Outlander Pride. There really isn't much to this. Nima is sick now. The end of the chapter is the Predator group sending dudes to threaten the Pride, and the Pride is going, no. Next chapter. Well, actually, let's take a second to not appreciate how short these chapters are. 4 paragraphs max with no indentions in there, like just a big block of words. You know how online fanfics are written. Usually there is a pause between someone talking or just like a difference in action or thought pattern. There is none of that. None of it. Anyway, back to the story. Sheeta gets back to the graveyard and finds out that her hyenas suffered heavy casualties, but they had given the same to the attackers. Luca is also asked to leave, as Sheeta determines that this has nothing to do with him. Luca protests, but Sheeta demands it, saying he betrayed her. I don't really remember the betrayal bits because the first book was all over the place, but whatever, Sheeta, go off, queen. Sheeta wonders who she could go to for help and decides maybe she should pay her former pride a visit. She goes to her den to think on it, but then Luca shows up because he doesn't know boundaries. And she's like, fine, you suck, follow me. So they go off to travel to the Outlanders. Next chapter! Luca and Sheeta are almost to the Outlanders, and Sheeta has a brief moment when she misses when she and Luca were friends, which is contrary to when she wanted to legitimately murder him like 3 chapters back. Binti is the first to spot her. They were besties as kids, and she announces to the Pride that Sheeta has returned. There's a bit of catching up. Sheeta meets her mother and father. Heartfelt moment, moving on. This is painful to read, like so painful, and people really enjoyed the fic whenever it was first written, but I can't enjoy it now because this writing makes me want to sleep. The POV switches to Luca, who is waiting outside of Imani's den awkwardly. There is a slow catch-up between Sheeta's old friends, where they ask silly questions like they're all 4-year-olds. Luca lets slip that even though he was betrothed to Sukari, he had planned and still planned to make Sheeta his queen. Sheeta overhears this and is very much not on board and tells him to go back to the Pride Lands again. And this time I'm pretty sure he actually leaves. Next chapter. We are officially halfway done, I think. This chapter is 2 paragraphs and is the first introduction to our main villain, Doa the Tiger. The gist of it is that he knows what Sheeta is up to, knows where she is, knows everything because he's evil. He reveals to one of his henchmen, Sawa, who is a hyena, that he wants to get Sheeta's hyenas on his side. There is some really odd romantic tension between Doa and Sawa in all of their scenes together. It doesn't go anywhere, but it is there, and I knew the intention was there because I wrote it. Next chapter, we're back to Sheeta, and she reveals that she has a plan, though we have no idea what it is. She has a guilt thought train about Luca as her thoughts roam to him, wishing that he had in fact died so that she wouldn't have to face him. I like Sheeta's guilt through this series. It's maybe one of the only things I look positively on when I look back at this series. I like that she tried to kill someone, that try failed, and now she has to face him as a regular part of her life. And the worst part to her is that he isn't angry. He understands. He knows what she was feeling and what caused it. So she doesn't know what to do with her guilt. Anyway, moving on. Knocked out of her thoughts by Binti and the announcement that there are hyenas around, Sheeta goes to meet them. They tell her that Doa has taken control of the hyenas, and they were the only ones who would stand with Sheeta, 7 in total. Sheeta tells them to follow her, and they head into the main Outlander territory. Some lions are unfriendly, but are quickly shut up by Sheeta. Sheeta takes them to Imani, who demands to know why there are hyenas on his land, and Sheeta explains their situation, and Imani allows them to stay. So that's that. Next chapter. This chapter switches back to Luca in the Pride Lands, and he's stressing about quite literally everything. Sukari interrupts him, asking him to go hunting with her and the others. He says he's not gonna go, and they get into a big argument about his mood and everything lately. And it's a good argument, and once again I bring up that Sukari is best girl and is the only sane lion in this entire fic. The argument ends with Luca's confession that he's still in love with Sheeta, and then he runs off. Next chapter! Sheeta is out on patrol with Binti and a few others, and comes to meet another patrol that has captured one of Doa's lackeys, a jackal named Pancha. The jackal said that he was sent to spy on the Outlanders, and without any fight, he gets threatened mildly and then just spills his guts. Sheeta tells them to bring Pancha with them back to the Pride for more questioning. Now, they get back to the Pride, and we have to deal with the topic of hyena racism. No, I'm not kidding. Moja, one of Sheeta's friends, has had babies, and one hyena, who is also incredibly pregnant, wants to see them. The lions guarding Moja are saying hell no to that, and Sheeta tells them to quit being jerks. They don't listen to her, but they do listen to Moja, who orders them to leave the very pregnant hyena alone. This accepting moment is broken by Doa, who has surprised everyone by showing up and is now saying he's come to bargain, specifically with Sheeta. Next chapter, Doa has come to bargain, and no one really wants to bargain with him. Then he brings out Luca, who he has captured and apparently tortured. He's bleeding, he's really not doing all that great. Sheeta kept an unamused expression as she looked at Doa. "And what shall you do to him? Kill him? That will prove no point to me, I assure you," she said, glancing at Luca. A few of his old wounds were bleeding, as if he had fought someone before being brought before her. "Then kill him. I shall. Just give the word," Doa said, knowing that she wouldn't want to. Doa had heard the backstory between these two. He knew the scars that they had imprinted on each other, and most of all, he knew that he could use their connection for his own advantage. Sheeta stared at him before looking at Luca, who was pleading with his eyes for her not to give the word. She didn't want to. She really didn't. Doa didn't have the right to use him against her. But of course, this is how it went. The villain brings in the lover, and the girl gives up to save him, and the other way around. Whichever way this went, Sheeta knew that she was going to lose. But better lose one lion than a whole pride. "So be it," she said, turning and walking away. So Doa is very much surprised and kind of begs Sheeta to not think in that way. When she says, "Nah, kill him, see if I care," Doa actually leaves him there, saying, as they let him leave, that he and his lackeys need to go determine a battle strategy. Like, they just let him trot off, no consequences. Luca is understandably upset because he almost died. Sheeta doesn't really care. Somewhere in Doa's pleas, he brought up that Doa had mentioned her loving him, and she had refuted that claim. He asked if her doing that was true. And Sheeta gives him a very vague answer that kind of makes it sound like she's actively deciding how she feels about him, even though she's not. Nowhere in this entire fic has it seemed as though she is or ever was in love with him. Next chapter. It starts with Doa telling the hyena Sawa to ready the troops because it's time for war. Doa goes over to the Outlanders' territory. They have a brief banter about the territory, and then when they quickly realize this is going nowhere, it's time for a fight. And that's it. That's the whole lead-up chapter. This writing sucks. This next chapter is the big battles, lots of fighting. Sheeta and Luca end up going against Doa like any good main protagonists would, and that happens, they yell some stuff. Sheeta hears a familiar war, and she finds her father getting killed. Spoiler alert, he dies. Somewhere, Nima also dies off screen, but we don't get that scene because I guess she wasn't that important. And then they lose. They lose their land, there are many casualties, all of it was for nothing, and they are banished to the elephant graveyards. At the end of the chapter, Sheeta sends Luca away again, and he promises that he will be back. There is a small epilogue chapter where Sheeta has a vision of the kings of the past and her father, who gives her a ghostly pep talk that I guess lifts her spirits. And it ends. So what is our takeaway? Nothing. I've learned literally nothing. This is probably my least favorite book out of the series. Nothing happens, something happens, and then it ends. So it just feels kind of like a waste of time. I kind of like Doa as a villain, but I'd like it more if he had more time to be a villain. He did nothing for a good while, and then did something, and he did it so well that he won. The Sheeta and Luca plotline is weird and makes very little sense on Sheeta's side because it doesn't seem like she likes him at all. She was prepped and ready to murder him towards the beginning, and throughout the entire fic she's like, "God, he's so annoying, kill yourself already," and it's awful. So yeah, that was Outlanders Above All. The next book is called Outlanders Exiled, and it's the last one in the series, and I can't remember if it sucks as bad as the first two. I actually don't think it does, because by the time I got around to writing it, I was slightly older and slightly better at writing, but I can't really remember, so I guess we'll all just find out together. In any case, thank you all so much for watching. Y'all stay safe, drink some water, remember to breathe, and I will see you in the next video.